On my wedding day, Sophia knocked me unconscious and locked me in the basement. Then she impersonated me and married my fiancé. From today onward, your man belongs to me, she declared with ruthless determination. In her haste, she failed to notice I'd stopped breathing in the darkness. I died during the ceremony's climax. Lucas held Sophia's hand, solemnly reciting his vows. For better or worse, in sickness and in health, this should have been my wedding. Instead, I floated above the altar as a spirit, watching Sophia steal my identity and the man I loved. Lucas stood tall and striking in his tuxedo, his sharp features softened by an unexpected blush creeping up his neck as he said "I do." Sophia gazed up at him through her veil with practiced tenderness. The picture of blushing bride, as if she'd been the one pining for Lucas these past years. Not me, Ivy. Petals rained down as they kissed, the crowd erupting in cheers. My corpse lay cold in the shadows below, blood blooming beneath me like wilting roses. I thought myself numb to life's cruelties. Yet phantom pain lanced through my chest at their union. When I tried leaving, an invisible force yanked me back. Death should have brought peace or reincarnation. Not this cursed tether. After dozens of failed escape attempts left me battered, I resigned myself to a corner, waiting for death's embrace. Instead, I found myself dragged into the bridal suite. Sophia changed from her snow-white gown into a scarlet reception dress, never releasing her grip on Lucas' arm throughout the festivities. Even in death, she wouldn't let me go. Lucas shielded her from most toasts, but Sophia still drank deeply. She'd outmatched me during our sisterly drinking bouts, though Lucas only knew my allergy excuses. Tonight, flushed with victory, she overindulged. By evening's end, Lucas' frown deepened with each champagne flute she accepted. The celebration faded, but my prison didn't. They carried me into the honeymoon suite with them, my spectral form trapped where my body once bled. She put on the airs of a dutiful wife and caring mother, fussing over Lucas with exaggerated concern. Truth be told, the pampered heiress' clumsy attempts at domesticity clashed painfully with her privileged upbringing. When Lucas stumbled into the bathroom reeking of alcohol and exhaustion, Sophia followed under the guise of helping, clearly hoping for a romantic bath together. He promptly ejected her, blissfully misinterpreting his rejection as consideration for her well-being. Sophia hummed cheerfully while leisurely washing fruits on the marble countertop. The mansion staff had all been dismissed for the night. From my perch on the velvet sofa, I watched her pathetic seduction attempts with cold satisfaction. During my own relationship with Lucas, Sophia had constantly pried for details about our romance. At first I answered honestly, but as her questions grew increasingly invasive about our intimacy, I began weaving half-truths. I told her Lucas had insatiable appetites behind closed doors, that we'd crossed every boundary. In reality, we'd never progressed beyond kissing. We'd made a pact years earlier when I felt truly ready. I'd give myself to him completely. Until then, he'd honor my boundaries without question. What began as trauma response to childhood horrors had unwittingly laid the groundwork for tonight's reckoning. Every vulgar advance Sophia made only pushed Lucas further away. The man despised deception above all else. If he discovered her manipulative games, my lips curved faintly as Lucas emerged in his bathrobe. Sophia abandoned half-sliced strawberries to rush into the steamy bathroom, foregoing her usual hour-long soak in favor of hasty grooming. She used my favorite bergamot-scented bath products with practiced ease, moving through my space like she owned it. Through the fogged glass, her silhouette undressed with performative grace. For years, Sophia had cycled through lovers like seasonal fashion, mocking my prudish loyalty to one man. Yet here she was, trying to pluck the very rose she'd ridiculed me for cultivating. What gave her the audacity? The answer struck me like sleet: those wedding photos bearing the names Sophia Martinez and Lucas Adams in gilded script. 7 years ago, I'd been stripped of my identity and reborn as Sophia Martinez. even during our relationship. Lucas only ever knew me by this stolen name. Her marriage stood legitimate in every legal sense, while I remained a ghost haunting my own life. Condensation dripped like tears down the bathroom tiles. How bitterly ironic that I died still questioning my own name and origins. My entire existence stretched before me, that bleak journey from Ivy to counterfeit Sophia. At age 1, I became collateral damage in a factory accident that killed my father. My mother Linda fled with my sister Emily and all the compensation money, abandoning me to my grandmother's care. She'd chosen Emily for the auspicious meaning behind her Chinese name, brocade symbolizing bright futures. I became the discarded child. While others cherished family memories, I clung to a single faded photograph of parents I'd never know. But worse than being called bastard were the lecherous stares that followed me from puberty onward, the midnight intruders whose groping hands violated my dorm bed. Precarity and beauty made cruel bedfellows. My grandmother's back became permanently stooped from working extra shifts to keep me in boarding school, shielding me from worse fates. I studied relentlessly, desperate to give her comfort in her twilight years. Yet here in death, I still taste the metallic tang of unfulfilled promises. The bathroom door creaked open, releasing tendrils of steam that dissolved my spectral form. Sophia emerged wrapped in my monogrammed towel, her damp hair clinging to bare shoulders as she advanced toward Lucas with predatory grace. Somewhere beyond the material world, I smiled. Let the viper embrace her prey. The strike would come from within. After the college entrance exams, I received an acceptance letter from an Ivy League university. The woman who'd been absent for 17 years somehow learned the news and reappeared just when I no longer needed her. That's how I discovered my mother Linda Wilson had remarried a wealthy businessman 16 years ago. My sister Emily Taylor had long since changed her name to Sophia Martinez. They suddenly became attentive caregivers, arranging a full medical checkup for Grandma and booking us a luxury guided tour package, all under the guise of celebration and making amends. I resisted until I saw the desperate longing in Grandma's eyes. She'd been trapped in our impoverished mountain village her whole life, never knowing the world's wonders. At her age, this might be the only chance. The trip opened my eyes to breathtaking horizons. Watching Grandma's face light up with childlike wonder eroded much of my resentment toward Linda and Sophia. Then we returned home to the medical report that shattered my world. A malignant tumor the size of a child's fist clung to Grandma's heart. The $300,000 surgery might as well have been $300 million for us. That's when Linda revealed her true purpose. She wanted me to legally become Sophia Martinez, to share my sister's identity. Emily would attend classes for photo ops and social prestige while I actually studied, took exams, and earned credentials. After 4 years, the diploma bearing Sophia Martinez would go to her. In exchange, Linda would cover all Grandma's medical costs. The terms were clear: appear instantly when needed, vanish when not, and never disrupt their perfect lives. She delivered this proposal with tea party politeness, each word flaying me alive. Their sudden concern for Grandma's health had never been genuine, just leverage to enslave me. Their shared future meant me prostrating myself as human stepping stones for Emily's ambitions. Though I secretly had Grandma retested, the identical diagnosis left me no choice. I became Sophia Martinez's shadow. Linda kept her word, admitting Grandma to the best hospital. We all won what we wanted. When Sophia emerged from the shower, her scent now perfectly mirrored mine. On the counter sat artfully arranged fruit plates, even my favorite peeled Shine Muscat grapes. Undoubtedly Lucas Adams' work. My throat tightened. I'd never taste his careful preparations again. Lucas sat motionless on the couch, dark lashes veiling his thoughts. Sophia approached with the fruit platter. Migraine acting up? Her fingers brushed his temple. Manageable, he murmured. I used to massage his pressure points until he'd kiss my knuckles in gratitude. Sophia only knew about the headaches, not the years of silent caregiving. She calmly withdrew her hand, offering an apple slice instead. Honey, have some fruit. Her smile glittered. Lucas opened those ocean-deep eyes. studying her face. What? She tilted her head, playfully confused. He shook his head slightly. Already brushed my teeth. You enjoy them. Oh. Sophia sat down beside him and began eating on her own. After a while, seemingly struck by a thought, she knelt on the couch with a grape between her lips and leaned toward Lucas. Their lips brushed, and Lucas's brow twitched almost imperceptibly. Open up, she mumbled, pulling back slightly. Lucas remained motionless. His obsidian dark eyes lowered as if scrutinizing whether the soul within this familiar body still matched the person he knew. He kept his mouth sealed. Sophia huffed in frustration, tossed the fruit plate aside, and stormed into the bedroom. Lucas lingered on the couch for a long time before finally following. The moment he settled on the bed, she slithered close like honey. Darling, let's not waste the night, she purred with suggestive sweetness. Too tired. Sleep. He slid under the covers and shut his eyes. I chuckled at Sophia's crestfallen expression. She'd stolen my identity to cozy up to Lucas. Unaware his greatest weakness lay in hearing Luke whispered in my voice. The man who rarely indulged in passion would have handed her his beating heart if she'd simply murmured that nickname. Pity she never figured it out. She'd always sneered that a country bumpkin like me could never deserve someone of Lucas's stature. Yet here she was, trying to force commitment through her usual schemes. Judging by tonight's failure, this charade would drag on. When desperation hit, would she propose sharing Lucas like last time? Too bad I'm already 6 feet under. I wonder how she'll react upon finding my corpse. Resting my chin in hand, I smile. The dilemma should prove entertaining: either protect her reputation by confessing her crimes, becoming society's laughingstock, or secure her position as Mrs. Adams by erasing all traces of me. But in this modern age, how exactly does a delicate socialite plan to dispose of evidence? Curling into Lucas's arms on the sprawling marital bed, I close my eyes with finality. No more answering Sophia's every summons. After all, I'm dead. When Lucas rose at dawn, Sophia still slept. He studied her face for an eternity, his expression unreadable behind those impenetrable eyes. Day 2 of ghosthood brought unbearable boredom. No phone. No books. Tethered to Sophia's side, I drifted through endless laps around the penthouse until 10 a.m., when she finally stirred. After a languid morning routine, she ordered brunch from the staff, rummaged through my old suitcase for peasant clothes, and snatched the basement key with stormy determination. I floated ahead eagerly, anticipation crackling as we descended. The basement door swung open. Sophia's smirk froze, then shattered into a glass-shattering shriek she muffled with both hands. From my vantage above, I watched her trembling fingers check for breath under my corpse's nose. Saw her stagger back in horrified recognition. Witnessed her collapse as those widened eyes locked on the iron nail protruding from my chest. After reuniting with her after over 7 years, Sophia had always been this haughty, domineering figure. This was the first time I'd witnessed such a kaleidoscope of emotions play across her face. Fascinating. Really. The air reeked of blood with undertones of rotting flesh. When I finished observing her little performance, I turned to examine myself. My once vibrant skin had turned ashen. The blood-soaked parts blackened like overcooked meat. My body lay there like a discarded rag doll, stiff and lifeless. That clumsy oaf Sophia had bashed my skull in so brutally, I couldn't bear to look anymore. Drifting out of the basement like smoke. Mom? It's me. Could you come to Emily's hotel suite? Sophia's voice cracked as she clutched my phone, smearing her meticulously applied makeup with snotty tears. I think I messed up bad. She hiccuped dramatically, putting on quite the show. Just come quick, okay? I'm scared being alone here. I lounged invisibly nearby, thoroughly enjoying this train wreck of a performance. After composing herself, Sophia locked the basement and returned to the suite's living area. The wait must have been agonizing because she mindlessly flipped on the TV. Not that she paid attention, too busy jumping at every creak and staring at the door like a meth head. Meanwhile, I found some trashy reality show utterly captivating. The doorbell finally rang an hour later. Sophia rocketed toward the entrance, tears already streaming before she even turned the knob. Mom. The word died in her throat. My ghostly head swiveled toward the doorway. Instead of Linda, there stood Lucas in his usual tailored perfection. My non-existent heart would have skipped a beat. What are you doing here? Sophia squeaked, tears magically evaporating. Hotel management called about extending your stay. Lucas stepped inside, his polished Oxfords clicking against marble. I was nearby handling Adam's group business. Now what's this about a sister? Sophia's eyes darted toward the basement stairs like a cornered animal. Nothing. I meant the TV show. The sister character just died. Lucas glanced at the screen currently showing a cartoon unicorn prancing through rainbows. His eyebrow arched. Since when do you cry over children's programming? I wanted to scream. 3 more steps. You gorgeous idiot. Just check the damn basement. If I still had hands, I'd shove him down those stairs myself. Maybe we should, Lucas began, cut off by another doorbell ring. Sophia? Honey? It's Mom. Linda's muffled voice carried through the door. The color drained from Sophia's face as Lucas checked his Rolex. Perfect timing. Let's all have a little family chat. Shall we? Sophia froze in place, motionless. Lucas had opened the door. And you are? He looked at the middle-aged woman with confusion. Linda stood speechless, instinctively turning to Sophia for guidance. This is my distant aunt. Auntie. Meet my husband Lucas. Sophia regained composure, seizing control of the narrative. Linda immediately understood her daughter's assumed identity. Hello. I'm Sophia's aunt, she offered with practiced ease. Lucas played along courteously. Pleasure to meet you, Auntie. I observed the charade with bitter amusement. Throughout Lucas' courtship, he'd only known Sophia as an orphan. Having been excluded from yesterday's wedding, Linda remained unrecognized by the groom. First Sophia carelessly called Mom at the door. Now this unexpected maternal visitor. How would an orphan suddenly produce a living mother? The glaring inconsistencies must be raising red flags in Lucas' mind. My gaze lingered on Linda. What role did this woman truly play in stealing my destined marriage? Darling, didn't you say you needed to get back to work? Let me walk you out. Sophia looped her arm through Lucas, checking his watch. He offered no resistance. The corporate prince truly was busy. Auntie, please wait here. I'll return shortly. Sophia called over her shoulder as they left. Linda smiled her farewells. Against my will, Sophia's invisible leash dragged me along as escort. We'd barely re-entered when Linda decisively locked the door. Gripping Sophia's arm, she marched toward the basement entrance. Mother, you know? Sophia paled at the sight of the half-open basement door. You thought you could hide this from me? Linda's face darkened. Sophia, have you lost all sense? All these years I indulged your whims. When you wanted the glittering life, I helped maintain the facade. When studies bored you, I let Emily take your classes and exams. When your father handed you the company and you kept exploiting her, I turned blind eyes. But crossing the line to murder over some man? Her condemnation echoed through the house, stunning even my ghostly presence. After decades of favoritism, who knew this woman still acknowledged my existence? The revelation could have shocked my corpse back to life. I didn't kill her, just knocked her out. The accident wasn't planned. I only wanted Lucas. Never meant. And who'd believe that? Linda's voice turned glacial. We both know how you've illegally confined Grandma to control visitation rights. You've fed on Emily's talents while crushing her spirit. keeping her trapped like some basement rat. How many punishments did you invent whenever she protested your thefts? The bitter irony choked me. Countless times I'd pleaded innocence during her unjust accusations, only to receive harsher retribution. Now this golden child dared snivel for mercy? Stop blubbering, Linda snapped. We need to contact the authorities immediately. Don't call the police. Upon hearing this, Sophia stiffened and cut off Linda sharply. Shut up. Linda massaged her temples. Do you want to draw everyone's attention? Sophia trembled and lowered her head. Explain why not, Linda demanded darkly. Sophia hunched her shoulders. Though Ivy and I share the same name, our life trajectories are completely different. Lucas only knows the orphan Sophia. That's not me at all. If we involve the police, Lucas will find out the truth. Then I can't stay by his side anymore. Linda slapped her daughter hard across the face. Sophia! Are you that desperate for a man? I'm not desperate for just any man. Sophia ignored her stinging cheek, clutching Linda's arm. Mom, do you realize who Lucas really is? He's the heir to the Adams Group, the one you see on financial news every day. That bitch Ivy tricked us all. Mom, do you know the Adams Group's market valuation? Without waiting for an answer, Sophia blurted out. At least $80 billion. That's thousands of times Dad's company. Seriously? Linda gasped. If they're that wealthy, why would they settle for Ivy? Who knows? Maybe he's got terrible taste. Sophia shrugged. Though she wasn't insulting me, I found myself drifting. To me, Lucas had always been like snow-capped peaks, beautiful yet unattainable. Being with him felt like living in some grand fantasy. Even in death, I still couldn't comprehend why he'd chosen to marry me. The reason doesn't matter, Sophia declared. What matters is that I'm Mrs. Adams now. With this status, who cares about degrees or skills? Lucas only wants this pretty face anyway. If I get pregnant with his child, the Adams fortune will be ours for the taking. Sophia painted an enticing future, spinning tales so convincing they'd tempt a ghost like me. Linda's eyes gleamed. You mean, cover up Ivy's death? Sophia nodded grimly. No cameras in the room. We just need to dispose of her quietly. After weighing options, Linda straightened her blouse and left. She returned dragging an oversized suitcase. They cracked my stiff limbs, stuffing my corpse and the bloodied baseball bat inside. Working methodically with latex gloves, they scrubbed every trace of evidence before checking out. Driving miles into remote hills, they hauled me up treacherous slopes before dumping my body over the cliff. Watching them stumble down with scraped knees and torn dresses, I shivered at the abyss below. At least I died quickly. Being smashed on these rocks would have been worse. How laughable that 7 years of sisterhood meant nothing. Our mother birthed me but treated me like garbage. Guess they'll learn soon enough, blood money never brings happiness. Limping home with dirt-stained heels and bloody knees, Sophia ignored the servants' stares and marched upstairs. The perfect society wife, hiding death beneath her manicured nails. Sophia Martinez stormed into the bedroom, kicking off her shoes with frustration before heading to wash away the evidence in the bathroom. What happened to your leg? A voice came from the balcony direction. It was Lucas Adams. Sophia jumped. You're back? She avoided his question, staring at Lucas. Why are you so banged up? Lucas crouched down in front of her, reaching to lift her skirt hem. Sophia scrambled backward, evading his touch. His hand froze mid-air. Just got chased by a stray dog and fell. Sophia lied through her teeth. Lucas studied her silently. I'm filthy. Need to shower. Sophia feigned composure as she locked the bathroom door. The moment the latch clicked, she frantically tugged at her hair in silent panic. Lucas' demanding job often kept him out nights, which was precisely why Sophia had rejected Linda Wilson's offer to use her home. This private bathroom visit served dual purposes: searching for any expensive gifts Lucas might have given me, and destroying my clothes and suitcase to erase my existence. For years, only Linda had known about our shared existence. Now that I'm gone, Sophia's rushing to delete me entirely. But her mental capacity couldn't handle such complex maneuvers. The harder she tried, the more mistakes she'd make. One misstep would be her downfall. Gritting through the sting of water on scraped knees, Sophia showered with forced cheerfulness. When the hair dryer hummed to life, Knox interrupted. "Everything okay?" She cracked the door, finding Lucas waiting. Without words, he took the dryer and began styling her hair. The mirror fogged, hiding both our expressions. Later, Lucas brought a first aid kit, kneeling to disinfect her wounds with clinical care. Sophia watched adoringly, clearly thinking these minor injuries were worth his attention. "Honey, it hurts. I need a kiss," she pouted as he packed up the medical supplies. "Should have thought of that earlier," Lucas retorted, though he pressed lips to her forehead. Sophia beamed like she'd won the lottery. Returning from putting away the kit, Lucas held out a black card. "You never wanted my money before, but we're partners now." His tender gaze could melt glaciers. "Thanks, darling." Sophia clutched the card like a holy grail. "About your grandmother." Lucas hesitated. "She's perfectly fine. Better off than most," Sophia answered without looking up. Lucas' expression darkened immediately. I did a silent victory roll on the bed. Poor Sophia had finally tripped into the grave she'd been digging. Over the years, Linda and Sophia had bribed caregivers, believing they held all the cards. Little did they know I'd turned the new nurse to my side. They remained oblivious to Grandma's passing. But Lucas and I, we knew. "Anything else, darling husband?" Sophia tilted her head coquettishly. "Not at present." Lucas's smile didn't reach his eyes as he ruffled her hair. After Sophia retired for the night, Lucas pulled out his phone. Curious, I peeked over his shoulder. His text glowed on the screen. Frowny face investigates Sophia's movements today. Full itinerary required. The instant reply came frowny face on it. Also, his thumb hovered before typing frowny face dig into her past. Dark excitement coiled in my chest. The game board was tilting at last. Fate's jaws yawned wide beneath Sophia's designer heels, though she danced on obliviously. Armed with Lucas's black card, Sophia plunged into obsessive shopping sprees, tedious indulgences I observed with detached amusement. These were death throes of vanity. Nothing more. Most days I drifted like a kite on her whims, occasionally napping against her shoulder blades when boredom struck. Lucas had stopped bothering with marital pretenses, yet still answered Sophia's calls with practiced tenderness that would have shattered me. Thankfully, his acting was wasted on this counterfeit Sophia, not the real me. Paradoxically, his absence stoked my longing. Our living marriage had been lukewarm tea, but death brewed addictive yearning, creeping vines of regret strangling my resolve. When Lucas reappeared clutching a dossier, his storm-cloud expression darkened the sunlit parlor. A meter-long sandalwood box lay before him. Sophia breezed in, arms laden with shopping bags. Spotting Lucas, her face blossomed like overeager marigolds. "Darling, I've missed you terribly." She undulated toward him, only to be halted by his rolled-up documents. "Out." Lucas's single command emptied the room. Sophia preened, mistaking this for foreplay, but studying Lucas's micro-expressions. I realized with delicious clarity, while Sophia fantasized about writing her husband, Lucas was mentally drafting her obituary. "I want to know." Lucas glanced at the items Sophia had purchased, his tone deceptively light. "Do you actually love me? Or just my money?" Though softly spoken, each word carried the weight of an anvil. Sophia's face drained of color. "Honey, what are you?" Her voice cracked. Of course I love you more than anything. He studied her for a long moment before chuckling. Is that so? His gaze drifted lazily across the room. Not that I'd mind either way. But I'd prefer you fell for my charm before my bank account. No. Your money means nothing compared to. Relax. Kitten. Can't take a joke? Lucas patted her cheek with exaggerated playfulness. His demeanor reminiscent of a man teasing a stray cat. This casual cruelty felt utterly foreign to me. Sophia forced a smile that looked more like a grimace. Enough games. Lucas nodded toward an ornate wooden box on the coffee table. Open your gift. My gift? Her trembling fingers lifted the lid. Oh, you shouldn't have. The blood-stained baseball bat rolled into view. My baseball bat. The one she'd used to crush my skull. No! Sophia screamed, knocking the box to the floor. The weapon clattered against her designer heels as she scrambled backward. This isn't happening. Now. Lucas's voice turned arctic. Who the hell are you? Sophia bit her lip hard enough to draw blood. Lucas. It's me, your wife Sophia. Her desperate smile wavered. Sophia? He drew out each syllable like a blade unsheathing. Funny. I know 2 women by that name. 2 dossiers slid across the table, both labeled with her name. One file bore the alias Ivy in bold red letters. She lunged for the documents, claws outstretched. I hovered over her shoulder, invisible yet omnipresent, as she frantically scanned pages detailing every lie she'd ever told. Too late. Traitor. The moment you buried me in that shallow grave, you signed your own death warrant. The papers rustled like autumn leaves. I rested my ghostly chin on Sophia's shoulder, watching my entire existence reduced to black ink on white pages. Every stolen identity, every forged document, every drop of blood, all laid bare. For the first 18 years of my life, though filled with hardship and humiliation, I remained myself. The following 7 years entangled with Sophia often made me forget who I was. Unexpectedly, Lucas sharply distinguished between Sophia and me, leaving me both shocked and grateful. Ivy. Staring at these 2 familiar yet foreign syllables. My nose stung with tears. I am Ivy. Yet the world only recognizes Sophia, oblivious to Ivy's existence. The sole person who knew my true identity was Grandma. She understood my exhaustion, shared my pain, and shielded me for half a lifetime. Even in death, she never released me from her heart. I was her Ivy girl, cherished by her alone. Yet she never knew her Ivy girl had lost her name 7 years ago, reduced to a hollow shell. After reading my life story, Sophia seemed to lose her soul. She collapsed on the floor, fingernails shredding the documents into lace. Suddenly possessed, she scrambled up and bolted for the exit like a madwoman. 2 FBI agents materialized at the doorway, badges glinting as they blocked her escape. Sophia froze into a petrified statue. Enjoying your identity theft game? Lucas spoke with deceptive calm, eyes brewing tempests. Sophia trembled violently but stayed silent. As sunset bled into night, darkness seeped through the windows, swallowing everyone present. No one moved to switch on lights. Lucas melted into the shadows like a predator lying in wait, lethally dangerous yet irresistibly magnetic. I drifted to his side, curling into the sofa cushions to rest my spectral forehead against his chest. I'll admit your imitation was flawless, almost an uncanny resemblance. His voice cut through the gloom. I never wanted to doubt my own wife. But your performance contained fatal flaws. Calling this existence happy? His knuckles whitened on the armrest. Prematurely aged at 50? Ravaged by chronic illness? Swallowing pills like candy? My Sophia would have wept herself sick trying to shoulder my pain. Yet you, a mirthless chuckle escaped him. How could identical faces harbor such different souls? The crowning irony? He bent to retrieve an evidence bag. You impersonated her without knowing her grandmother passed years ago. Sophia's jaw dropped. Stupidity isn't a crime. Sophia, Lucas murmured, examining the sealed documents. But targeting me was your fatal mistake. Failing to recognize this fraud sooner is my eternal shame. Since you destroyed what I cherished. Cold finality entered his tone. You'll repay with your life. No. I didn't kill Ivy. Sophia erupted in panic. I only knocked her out. Her death was an accident. Lucas. Please. Take her. Lucas nodded to the agents. Sophia shrieked as handcuffs snapped around her wrists, thrashing against the federal officers dragging her away. I won't go. I don't want to die. Her desperate cries echoed through the darkening mansion until the front door slammed shut. Lucas. She's already dead. Why can't you see me as her replacement? Sophia continued pleading desperately even while restrained. I don't mind being her shadow. Please. Keep me. I don't want to die. Do you really think you're worthy to replace her? Lucas's voice dropped to lethal softness as he gripped Sophia's chin. His eyes flashed like storm clouds gathering before lightning strike. This face grants you temporary protection, but you'll repay every debt owed to her. The living embodiment of a wrathful deity from the underworld. Lucas made a casual gesture. Security personnel immediately dragged Sophia away, collecting evidence from the marble floor with clinical efficiency. The mansion felt hollow and eerily quiet when Lucas finally closed his eyes. For the first time, his ramrod straight posture slumped slightly. Watching from the shadows, I felt my spectral form tremble with complicated emotions before realizing the containment spell had broken. My ghostly tether to this world was dissolving. Lucas ascended the grand staircase, pausing abruptly at the second-floor landing. Moonlight illuminated Sophia's abandoned shopping bags. Mr. Anderson, he called into the darkness. The family butler materialized silently, collecting the designer parcels with gloved hands. I drifted into the master bedroom while Lucas continued to his third-floor study. All traces of Sophia had been erased, her monogrammed luggage vanished. My own belongings mysteriously reappeared in their original places. The study's desk lamp cast golden light over framed photographs. Our wedding portrait sat beside candid shots stolen from security cameras and blurred snapshots, my entire existence reduced to these stolen moments. For 7 years, I'd mirrored Sophia's every mannerism, dressed in her cast-off elegance, become such a perfect replica that even Linda frequently confused us. Lucas's fingers traced the edge of a surveillance photo, his expression unreadable. Downstairs, car doors slammed. Somewhere beyond the estate walls, Sophia would soon learn the true cost of stealing a life. The strangest thing was, there wasn't a single photo of Sophia in the entire collection. After examining the pictures on the desk, Lucas rested his hand on the drawer handle but remained motionless for a long moment. I noticed his fingers trembling slightly, as though some monstrous secret lay within. When the drawer finally slid open, another stack of photographs emerged. One glance made me recoil. They were images of me. Post-mortem shots. After Sophia and Linda had mutilated my body, then left it to decay in the wilderness. Seeing my own ravaged face turned my non-existent stomach. Lucas showed no such revulsion. His elegant fingers traced the festering contours of my eyes in the photo. A teardrop splashed against the glossy surface. I stared in disbelief. Lucas, who I'd never seen cry in 3 years of friendship, had tear tracks cutting through the shadows beneath his eyes. The golden boy now looked haggard, his luminous features dimmed like sunshine devoured by storm clouds. As night deepened around his solitary lamp, I watched him grieve. Grief I'd never anticipated. In death, I'd been consumed by vengeance against my sister Emily, never considering how my absence might devastate Lucas. Rage had blinded me to love's enduring weight. At dawn, Lucas collected my remains from the corner. Though decomposition had set in, the body remained intact. He hired a top mortician to restore my appearance before cremation, then hosted an elaborate memorial. The program leaflet detailing my brief existence, Ivy Anderson, 1995 to 2023, felt like a victory. My invisible life finally witnessed. My name etched into collective memory. The trial revealed Lucas' invisible hand. While manslaughter versus murder seemed semantic, the sentencing disparity proved vast. Sophia received life imprisonment, Linda drew 20 years for evidence tampering and abandonment. Only later, reviewing prison reports in Lucas' study, did I understand his true design. Their cellmates provided relentless attention. Guards revived them during hunger strikes with nutrient IVs. Every torment they'd inflicted on me now boomeranged back. Eternal as orbiting satellites. They buried me beneath cloudless cerulean skies. As soil covered the urn, I finally grasped death's paradox in erasing me. It had carved my essence deeper into the living world than breath ever could. Lucas stood motionless long after others left, his shadow stretching across fresh earth like a promise. Where I should have seen an ending, I found my beginning etched in his steadfast silence. Lucas stood before me in a black suit, holding an enormous bouquet of red baby's breath. I saw my own tombstone. The largest characters carved their red beloved wife Ivy, with Lucas' name etched on the right side. After half a lifetime of struggles, I'd finally shed the weight of being Sophia. The relief was sweet. May I call you Ivy? Lucas knelt before the grave, his pale slender fingers tracing the letters of my name. The childhood nickname froze me in place. I remember when we first met. He continued, voice catching like autumn leaves on stone. You said your grandmother was your only family. When I fell for you, I wanted to become your family too. His knuckles whitened against granite. I was always too awkward, too guarded, terrified you'd push me away. Yet you stayed these past years. Wind carried his confession through weeping willows. I'm no good with words, but this I know: I loved you. Wanted to grow old with you. After your grandmother passed, I thought marriage could keep you safe. Wanted you to know you'd always have family. That I'd protect you. A bitter laugh escaped him. When I proposed, God, I've never been so scared. Certain you'd refuse. Then you said yes. His thumb brushed over the carved date of our wedding. That moment, it was the closest I've ever been to heaven. Rain began pattering on his bent shoulders. I thought I was saving you. Instead, his forehead touched cold stone. Ivy, I failed you. This is all my fault. I'm so sorry. I'd never seen Lucas so raw. The man I knew wore solitude like armor. Emotions locked behind icy composure. Now he knelt shattered, pouring his fragile heart into unhearing marble. Ivy, I know it's selfish, but if there's another life. His whisper blended with the storm. Could you ever, choose me again? Only wind answered. His shoulders slumped as hope drained from his eyes. Something tore inside me. Looking down, I found my form dissolving into mist. My time was ending. Through gathering darkness, I watched Lucas collapse against the tombstone. His hand slipped from the engravement with finality. Agony swallowed me whole. Then light. I awoke gasping in a sunlit bedroom. Childhood photos smiling from lavender walls. Downstairs, Linda's laughter mingled with breakfast smells. College acceptance letters lay on my desk. Fingers trembling, I circled the university where I knew he'd be waiting, that quiet boy with storm-clad eyes who once crossed oceans to find me. On orientation day, I spotted Lucas through the campus gates. Autumn leaves swirled around his solitary figure as he walked through the golden haze. Students parting like tides around his quiet grace. Our eyes met. Time stopped. Somewhere, wind chimes sang. I deliberately stumbled in front of him. He'd intended to walk past, but froze when our eyes met. I held his gaze without flinching, slinging his bag over one shoulder. He extended his hand with an easy smile. His fingers were clean and elegant, slender yet strong. All my lingering doubts dissolved in that moment as I placed my hand firmly in his. That first touch became our forever.